Straight ahead on CCX News, a changing housing market.
Now is a great opportunity for those buyers to get back in the game.
What a Maple Grove realtor is seeing and what he says about the impact of rising interest rates. Plus, changes in Medicare enrollment. We'll have a closer look at what seniors need to know. And later, battling the Buckthorn, and one Plymouth volunteer who's earned a nickname for her efforts.
I'm proud of being Buckthorn Betty.
CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. There is a changing tide in the housing market. In the face of rising mortgage rates and buyers reluctant to enter the market, Twin Cities home sales have slowed. In fact, a report released Friday showed the slowest pace of home sales in 3 years. So what is the state of real estate these days? Producer Corey Bork went searching for answers.
Much has changed in the housing market. Just a few months ago, the market tilted toward the sellers. Now, Brandon Doyle with RE/MAX Results in Maple Grove says it's starting to lean toward the buyers.
Now is a great opportunity for those buyers to get back in the game. They're going to be able to negotiate a little bit more on the property, and they're not going to be competing.
Recent surveys show 30-year mortgage rates approaching or crossing 5%. The highest rates have been in 7 years.
For buyers, it's a little bit more difficult because with a 0.5% increase in interest rates, that equals about a 5% decrease in what you can afford overall.
On the plus side, listings have gone up, growing nearly 6% in the Twin Cities last month. In Maple Grove, it was nearly a 15% spike. But that's not true everywhere. Several inner ring suburbs in our area showed a drop in listings. In Robbinsdale, that number fell more than 20%. Doyle says the reason is simple: new construction and the availability of land in Maple Grove.
What that allows buyers to do is they can just go online, and it's like a Google Street View, but for your home.
Technology is changing real estate too. Doyle adopted 360 virtual tours, making the buying process more efficient. He credits virtual tours for selling homes more than 40% faster.
The 360 tour, it's what you see is what you get, and there's no deception of photography or anything. And so it's great for the sellers because if there's something about the house that's not going to work for the buyer, why should we waste everyone's time?
But with technology comes competition. Online marketplaces like San Francisco-based Open Door threaten to strip the need of working with a traditional real estate agent altogether. Doyle is well aware.
What I would caution the consumer is that if you're going to sell your house, don't let the buyer tell you what it's worth.
He says while online marketplaces may work for some, they won't work for everybody, and cautions about hidden fees. He also has advice for buyers.
You want to avoid the lipstick on a pig, those flips where, yeah, they did the granite and they did the nice paint and the cheap flooring, and it looks nice, it looks very pretty, but what they didn't do and you're not aware of is like the furnace might be on its last leg, or there could be some deeper issues.
For Business Matters, Corey Bork, CCX News.
Doyle recently wrote a book on the housing market called The Real Estate Marketing Playbook. It's a guide for realtors to survive the topsy-turvy market. We'll have more information on our website, ccxmedia.org. A Plymouth company is riding the roller coaster of the U.S. trade wars with China. Tile Shop reported strong sales and earnings numbers late last week, but then the company's chief financial officer mentioned the company facing tariffs on imports from China. That sent its stock spiraling downward. About half of the company's purchases come from Asia and China in particular. The company's CFO says the company is trying to lessen its reliance on Asian manufacturing. It's also well positioned with stock levels, so customers may not notice an immediate impact due to the recently enacted 10% China tariffs. In Brooklyn Center, a final vote is expected next month to raise the legal age for tobacco sales to 21. The Brooklyn Center City Council recently gave initial approval to the ordinance change, which would also limit the number of licensed tobacco retailers in the city. If approved, the ordinance would go into effect December 21st. Brooklyn Park is looking at design options for a new interchange at US 169 and 101st Avenue. The city hopes to have their design plans done by June of 2019 and then turn those over to MnDOT. Construction could begin in September. The price tag of the interchange, which is near the Grace Fellowship Church, is $31 million. The city already has more than $22 million in funding. New developments are coming to the area, and officials say interchange upgrades will speed up traffic flow.
That whole northwest portion of the city will receive some benefit from this interchange. Some portions of western or eastern Maple Grove will also benefit from this, as will some portions of southern Champlin. Some of those neighborhoods east of Winnetka will also benefit.
Brooklyn Park has set November 29th as a tentative open house date to talk about environmental impact and the project's schedule. Medicare open enrollment started October 15th, but there are changes some seniors will be facing. Reporter Meredith Hackler breaks down what you need to know.
Due to changes by the federal government, if you live in any of the counties highlighted in green, your Medicare coverage won't be changing.
Well, with their Medicare coverage this year, they have what's called cost plans, and those are going away.
But for the counties in blue, Hennepin County included, your Medicare coverage will not be the same.
Well, the cost plans were just plans that might be a little bit higher premium, but had some really nice rich benefits, had really nice travel benefits, things like that. The nice thing about UCare is that they're still going to get those benefits, travel, medical, dental. Some of our plans have dental, prescription drugs. So UCare plans are not considered cost plans, but we're considered what they call Medicare Advantage plans.
Those Medicare Advantage plans are a bit different. According to UCare, one of the biggest differences is that all the benefits will be under one coordinated plan.
We have 8 different plans to choose from. And the big thing is that 96% of all of our Minnesota providers are in our network. Fairview, North Memorial, Alina, Health Partners, Park Nicollet, Mayo Clinic. So everybody should be able to keep the doctors that they currently have, even if they're losing their plan.
This change is affecting 300,000 Minnesotans, and most of them probably have the same question. Is it going to cost me more money?
Not at all. So, like I said, we have 8 different plans to choose from, starting at a 0 premium. Some of our more popular plans have been premiums of $56, $99. They're right in the ballpark of what they're used to paying right now currently.
While it most likely won't cost you any more money, there is a possibility that your doctor isn't in network. However, UCare says patients shouldn't be worried.
Anytime your plan is leaving or they're losing their coverage, people do get nervous just because, oh man, do I got to find a different, provider? Am I going to have the same benefits? Not to worry, you will have the same benefits.
No matter what, your current plan coverage will continue through December 31st. However, Medicare open enrollment ends on December 7th, and if you register late, your premiums could be higher. Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
Still ahead, a Plymouth volunteer on a mission. You'll get to meet Buckthorn Betty next. Plus, the Wayzata girls soccer team gets set for the opening round of the state tournament. But first, cooler on Tuesday. We may not reach 50 degrees. The fall colors were at their peak this past weekend, but while many were out enjoying nature, a group of Plymouth volunteers worked to eradicate an invasive species from a popular park.
And today is beautiful for it, perfect.
Every October, Mother Nature transforms Minnesota into a picturesque landscape of orange and yellow. But for a group of volunteers in Plymouth, this is a time of year where they're more concerned with leaves of the dark green variety.
This is Buckthorn, and it's always dark green.
For the past 11 years, Betty Lamb has led a mission to eradicate buckthorn from Maple Creek Park.
It's a very nice shrub if you keep it trimmed. If you let it go, it turns into this gnarly, ugly tree with thorns on it.
It also spreads easily and chokes out all of the native plants. About 15 years ago, she says Maple Creek Park was overrun with buckthorn.
You couldn't walk through it, you couldn't even see through it. So I just decided something had to be done.
With a little help from the city of Plymouth, she organized a volunteer effort known as Buckthorn Busts, earning the nickname Buckthorn Betty in the process.
And actually now I look at it with fondness. I'm proud of being Buckthorn Betty.
On this Saturday morning, about 24 people joined Buckthorn Betty to help clear the park of the invasive shrub.
Thank the good Lord for Betty. She's been organizing this for years, and it's a great thing. She's saving this woods.
It's a tedious task that generally requires tools to uproot the plant.
The roots are very shallow usually on it, so it's relatively easy to pull up.
Yet considering the sheer number of buckthorn, it can be a taxing job.
It's a pretty good workout for a guy my age.
The uprooted buckthorn are then placed in piles for the city to pick up later, allowing visitors to enjoy the park as it was intended.
It is so rewarding to be able to look around and, see what you've accomplished just in one day.
Well, Plymouth has several more buckthorn busts planned in the next couple of weeks. For more information, you can go to our website at ccxnews.org. Still ahead, publicity for Brooklyn Center's water tower. But first, the Maple Grove girls soccer team is back at the state tournament for a second straight season. John Jacobson has their story next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Wayzata girls soccer team is back in the state tournament for a third time in 4 years. The Trojans are seated second for the Class AA tourney. Wayzata shuffled its lineup and moved players around to different positions throughout much of the season, and now they seem to have the right mix. Wayzata is a perennial power in girls soccer, but the Trojans haven't won a state title since 2012. Head coach Tony Pesniker knows how championship teams are built and thinks this year's squad could go all the way.
I think they have to be built like we are built right now, solid defensively. Even though we don't score as many as maybe we'd like, who are you going to shut down on Wayzata and keep them from scoring? We have 5 people with 10 points or more. 5 of them have 5 or 6 goals or more. Our leading scorer has 10. So we are really balanced across, and that's what you really would like to have.
It was really disappointing last year, our loss in semifinals, and so I think we're going to use that to come into state and not leave anything to uncertainty, and we're going to go out there and work our hardest and get what we can do to do as best as we can.
Wayzata's state quarterfinal game will be against Blaine Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. at Farmington High School. The semifinals and final are next week at U.S. Bank Stadium. Maple Grove's girls soccer team will make a second consecutive state tournament appearance after their debut trip last season. As Jay Wilcox reports, the Crimson have built momentum and are ready to compete with the state's best.
It's a great feeling to be state-bound again, especially the way it happened. Maple Grove trailed Centennial with under 5 minutes left in regulation in the Section 5 AA Championship before tying it and ultimately winning in overtime. They kept the faith that chances would come.
I really trust all my teammates a lot, so I mean, it was a little I was a little nervous a little bit just because of the intensity of the game, but I trust all of them to get the job done. So
at the beginning of the game, I probably would have maybe bet like a higher scoring game like that, but I felt like we kept trying and we'd get something in at some point.
We caught up with the Crimson before pairings were announced for the state tournament. Those first practices after winning the section are more general things to work on before specifics about a quarterfinal foe are known.
It's a little bit hard because obviously we have to practice and plan for a specific team based on their target players, but I think right now we're just focusing on tuning up some little things and all good right now.
There can only be one first trip to state, and that came last season for Maple Grove. But this time is just as exciting for the current group, and that trip a year ago gave the program a shot in the arm.
I feel like it did a lot, like just making that statement like, yes, this is Maple Grove, we are Crimson, and just to get like the fan following for that, it helped us a lot.
I mean, we were already pretty big in the school, and the school definitely recognized us, but making it to the state tournament just made all the fans, all the students of the school look a lot more into the soccer program, and we got a lot more support.
There are a lot of good teams in the state tournament, and Maple Grove knows if the ball bounces their way, they have a shot against anyone. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
4th seed Maple Grove plays 5th seed Minnetonka in the Class AA quarterfinals Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. at Prior Lake High School. The first state tournament of the fall sports season gets underway Tuesday morning in Minneapolis with the start of the 4-day state girls tennis tournament. The Wayzata girls are the lone team from the area to qualify for the tourney. The unseeded Trojans will meet defending state champion and #1 seed Edina in the Class AA quarterfinals Tuesday morning at 8. In addition, Armstrong's Nicole Snezko and Maple Grove's Zoe Atkins are both in the Class AA singles tournament that starts Thursday. Maple Grove's Maria Schultz and Victoria Epstein, along with Hopkins, Maddie Sook, and Rachel Kelly, are in the Class AA doubles tournament, also beginning Thursday. That's it for sports. Delane, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. District 45A covers parts of New Hope, Golden Valley, Crystal, Robbinsdale, and Plymouth. DFL candidate Lyndon Carlson is running for re-election against Republican Reed Johnson.
Hi, I'm Reed Johnson, and I'm running for state representative in New Hope, Crystal, and Plymouth. My wife Chris and I live in New Hope with our 2 sons, Noah and Joshua. Do you want safer schools, more civil discourse, lower taxes, and reduced health care costs for all? Then it's time for a change. My opponent has been in office since 1972. It is time to take a new direction. I will bring common sense leadership and values back to the Capitol. I pledge to work for you, to unite our communities in order to make a better environment to raise our families, and to make us proud of our communities and country again. To find out more about me, please visit reedjohnsonforhouse.com. Please vote for me on November 6th. Thank you.
Greetings, I'm the DFL endorsed candidate for re-election in District 45A, parts of Crystal, New Hope, and Plymouth. My wife Carol and I have lived in the district for 48 years. I am currently the lead DFL member of the Ways and Means Committee and also serve on the Capital Investment and Tax Committees. In addition, I serve on the Midwest Higher Education Compact Executive Committee. My legislative priorities are jobs, economic development, great schools, a balanced budget, improved state and local infrastructure, affordable health care, and environmental protection. I enjoy the opportunity to serve in the Minnesota House of Representatives and would appreciate your support on Election Day. Thank you.
Up next, a Brooklyn Center water tower in the running for something pretty special. We'll have the details when we come back. Finally, Brooklyn Center in the running for Tank of the Year. Make that the Water Tank of the Year. Brooklyn Center's Water Tower number 3 was a finalist in the annual Tank of the Year contest. It's a contest held by Taniemic, a company that does work on water towers across the country. Voters got to vote for their favorite water tower. So, how did Brooklyn Center do? Well, the winner went to a water tower in South Carolina. However, Brooklyn Center's water tower will be included in Taniemic's annual calendar. Well, that is all the news for now. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you back here again tomorrow, starting at 4.